you throw. I'm so confused now.
Okay, go.
We're all
Alright,
whack.
I'm so confused. All right. No, but you're the. Oh no! I'm not you.
You're me! Take
But
your
if
face!
I'm me,
Have I become the empty space?
Only.
let's see who you really are. Old man Dion!
It was Old Man Jenkins!
I would have got away with it too if it weren't for you pesky meddling podcasters.
Just don't turn us into a walrus hybrid.
Okay, I won't.
It's a good thing you said that. He was just
Like, he was reaching for the button under his chair.
Yeah.
the button that just says walrus.
It's a strangely specific button shaped like a walrus.
All right, let's do this.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the CineBeards. I'm your host, Jason Musicant. With me, as always, are Marcus Knaef
Here and accounted for.
and Dion van Heerden.
Hooray!
And joining us this week, Thomas Sharp.
It's me!
Yes,
Well
Allegedly.
observed.
it's
well,
substitute Marcus.
It's,
Yeah, we've got a bit of a round table going here.
We have butter and margarine on this sandwich.
That sounds really gross.
That sounds quite horrible.
That sounds...
Super oily.
It sounds
Oh,
moist.
Well, that does it for us this week, guys.
Let's go!
yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so let's talk about some trailers.
Talk about some trailers.
Tau.
Hell 5000? I mean, they've in the trailer they've even got the line, you know, so and so, what are you doing? Like it's
Yeah.
it just that moment specifically felt a little on the nose, and the fact that it's a big red
Thing.
thing.
And also that sounds a little bit like Alan Tudyk.
It does sound a bit like I don't know, like it seems like a cool. This is Saw with a robot,
Yeah.
and I'll watch it, but I'm not like I need to see.
Yeah,
this.
it's interesting because
Yeah.
it succeeded in that it's made me like say I will probably watch this thing, which is its whole purpose as a trailer.
It is,
But on the other hand, it also like
it doesn't make me want to go out
I
and tell
won't
people.
prioritize.
And
If there's another better thing, I will watch the better.
it doesn't make me want to tell my friends.
One of the only things that, for me, is counting for it right now is the fact that the lead was in Lights Out, and she did quite well at being spooked.
Oh, was it her?
It was her.
All right. Nice. I'm not good
so,
with faces.
White people all look the same.
Mm.
Here's what your problem is. So she was quite good at being spooked. So I'll watch her again be spooked.
Yeah.
My thing is, like, I'm glad Netflix is bankrolling all these different genres of
Yeah.
film at once.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've got the big hitters that don't always succeed, like Bright, that was supposed to be a big blockbuster, but they've also got Martin Scorsese's Irishman coming out next year,
Yeah.
which is the gangster film he's been trying to make for like since he made Goodfellas. And between that, we've got like these small horror movies. There's that disaster movie which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and even animation, they're bankrolling quite a bit.
Oh,
Yeah, they do.
Disenchanted. What else? Or
Yeah,
Disenchantment?
they did the anime Godzilla, like Netflix Japan.
Yeah.
Godzilla
There's a
Planet
lot of
Planet
anime.
Godzilla.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got a lot of good animus.
Yeah,
Yes.
they've got that one that's by the same people that did that revolutionary one that came out recently.
Wow,
Life
this
or
is
something.
way
That's
too
pretty specific. I
too
don't
much
know if it's
detail.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
know,
turn it
but,
back.
like,
I feel
in
like I was
layman's
sitting right
terms.
there watching it with you.
Speak English.
I've got to keep you wanting. I'm
That's
guessing.
true. It's true. You really.
Admittedly, I've
You're really
forgotten.
selling that mystery box.
I have admittedly forgotten the title of the
J.J.
film.
Abrams, is that you?
It was me, J.J.
Old man J.J. Abrams.
I saved Star Wars.
You
Well, you
ruined
did.
Star Trek.
But yeah, no, they've got that anime, and they did the Devilman animus, and they did the Castlevania animus.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
The
the Castlevania
Castlevania
one I
one.
still want to
Yeah.
check out.
And
Which reminds me, I have to buy Hollow Knight on the Switch.
yes,
Yes, you do.
you should buy Hollow
Note
Knight
to
on the
future
Switch.
Dion. If you
I
listen to
won't
this,
edit out of the recording. I'll leave it in.
if you haven't bought it by the time you listen to this, you've forgotten, and you should go do that now.
Yeah. No, and
This is just an elaborate memo system.
Notes to future Jason. Shopping list.
Milk, butter,
San Pellegrino, and
Margarine.
only San Pellegrino.
Venom's coming out. Reminder to self: buy salt.
Isn't that a mechanic from the Lost in Space movie? He was like the Father Robinson was constantly like reminding himself to do shit. But like one of them was like apology video for son for forgetting his birthday or something.
Yeah, he was just loading those bases just in case.
So you mentioned a post-apocalyptic Netflix movie.
Yeah, that's the other one. How It Ends.
Oh, it's How It Ends on Netflix.
Yes.
Looks like an expensive Netflix.
It does.
Netflix
A lot of
isn't
CGI
afraid
weather.
to like
Yeah.
shell out some money. I mean, again, coming back to The Irishman, they basically gave Martin Scorsese $110 million and said, do what the hell, whatever you want.
It's a lot of dollars.
And he took a lot of cocaine, banged a lot of hookers, and he made a movie for $25 million.
He just had to call all his friends like, shit, I've really fucked up here. I spent all
Well,
this.
to be fair,
Do me a
he
solid,
did.
Rob,
Come on, man.
please.
I'm
Bob,
calling in
help
some
me out
market.
here.
Well,
Yeah,
to
so
be fair, he does have.
I'm making
you
a
know,
movie for Netflix, and they just don't have any budget. They gave me $500,000, and that's it. Can you help me out here?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do you a solid. I got film it on my iPhone.
It's basically a charitable donation for this little streaming service.
But
based
yeah,
on a true
it's-
story.
It's a disaster movie, and it's got Forrest Whitaker in it, so that's a thing.
Well, it's
Nah.
not a Disney movie, so we can be almost 100% sure he's not gonna die.
Yeah.
Ah.
Although he does
He seemed
attack
like a
the weather.
reluctant, like, father figure
Yeah.
And he was attacking the weather.
to like the main protagonist, white guy. So he's
Yeah.
probably gonna die.
He might.
I mean, you don't just fight the weather.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't
Not
know.
everybody's Gerard Butler.
can fight the weather.
But yeah, that also looks not great, but I'm gonna watch it.
I'm just hoping it's either like good or Geostorm.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't want it to be mediocre.
I don't want it to be in
it to be 5 out of
between.
10.
Yeah.
I want it to be
Or 6 out of
negative
10.
3 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Geostorm, the Meg International trailer 2. It's gonna have to do a lot to out Geostorm Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
From what you told me, that was a shit show.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No,
Oh, lovely. You have so much to look forward to.
I don't believe you.
I've
Sweet summer child.
not seen a movie so proud of being that horribly bad.
I should also
That's
point out
stupid.
that I read I read a review this morning for it on IGN. All right, obviously like the great, like you know, just the absolute bible when it comes to film reviews.
Yeah.
8.4 gothic horror and horror suspense
What?
are back apparently according to
the old impartial folks at IGN.
at IGN, who are currently running like a dozen Lost World Fallen Kingdom ads.
To be
Wait,
fair,
wait,
an
wait, wait,
8.4 on IGN.
How does
Yeah,
wait,
not enough water.
How is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom a gothic horror?
There's a part
There's
where
some
there's a
suspense,
dinosaur
yeah.
and there's a moon and then there's like a choir singing and I think that qualifies.
Like, Jack and O goes completely overboard.
I think Jack and I realized what's happening.
Oh, and he just went
and he's just
ham.
like, well, I've got basically the film industry equivalent of unlimited budget to do whatever I want.
So I'm gonna do whatever
I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna have some fun. It doesn't really matter if it fits what's happening at all.
Nobody
goes
cares at
completely
this
over the
point
top, and
anyway.
It's beautiful.
I can give you one thing that it's not a spoiler because it was in the trailer. But it's just to sum up this film, like they create this hybrid dinosaur, which is now what is it called again?
Okay, so
The
you know how in the
Murdersaurus?
first one they
Indominus Rex.
Indominus Rex,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is part raptor.
Yes.
Yes.
In this one, they create the Indoraptor, which
is
is
part
more
Jeff
part
Goldblum?
raptor.
Oh.
Indoraptor. Alright,
More
now this
part
thing
raptor.
is like genetically trained and it's apparently the ultimate fucking killing machine on the planet. The fact that I love that the reasoning behind, like, because obviously when you watch Jurassic World, they said they want to use them for military purposes, and that's really dumb in a world.
D'Onofrio there saying, "Oh, we're gonna like send them into caves to eat
Yeah.
the insurgents' belt buckle and all."
Yeah, which is really dumb in a world full of drones and
Yes.
smart missiles.
Yeah.
And then they
And
say,
men, and men with guns.
and then they say, since the dawn of man, we've used animals in warfare. We've used like horses and what's some of the other, but nothing like it sort of ends at World War One. His list of animals being used in warfare.
It never happened
like,
after World War
Remember
One.
that time in World War II where they rode
No.
horses against those tanks?
No,
It's
didn't
like-
And
happen.
then they
So-
won?
What are
Didn't
some of the
happen.
other animals he mentioned?
Please say like war pigeons.
But yeah,
or
but
like the time the
it's
Romans
stupid,
lit
it's like-
pigs on fire.
It's like
and,
dogs and elephants or something, and horses.
that's it.
So now, logically, 21st century, let's update it to use dinosaurs. So
Okay.
anyway, highly intelligent, trained to kill fucking... This thing's the prototype, but it's supposed to be like the centerpiece of these dinosaurs they're selling. And it's supposed to just like make everyone go buck wild over how dangerous and powerful it is. And that fucking thing is alone. It's alone and hungry in a room with a, like a 7-year-old girl, right?
Uh-huh.
Fucking fails to take, doesn't even come close. Like, it's alone for a full 45 seconds in this room, creeping towards
Spooky.
her. Creeping, and she's under the blanket going, right? And like,
Fucking
and it can't fucking take her out.
Like it dramatically slowly reaches over the bed like you see in the trailer.
Yeah. I thought they'd like, manipulated that footage in the trailer, like it was an edited like
No,
slow down or like half speed or
it's
something like that.
That is it. It's chasing 2 adults and a 7-year-old girl through a house, right? Wide open spaces, staircases, the works. It doesn't ever come.
Would you say a
close.
gothic mansion?
Without spoiling anything, like no context at all, at one point the monster essentially looks at the like dino beast, essentially looks at the camera and just winks at the audience.
So basically,
like, it literally does that. It's not
literally-
like, oh, it kind of it literally looks at the audience and is like,
so basically, we're getting closer and closer to the territory where that Eddie Izzard skit from about 10 years ago, where he talks about raptors being smart enough to use computers and hack and watch raptor porn. Like we're getting close.
that is 100% going to be in the next
We're
one.
getting close.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me. Okay.
But as for killing machines, these things which are supposed to be the next step in warfare against,
Humans
guerrilla armies and drone warfare and tanks and
and
shit.
brown people.
Yeah,
basically.
it's like they're supposed to be able to trump all of that, but they can't fucking take out a 7-year-old girl alone in a room. She's literally wrapped up in a blanket for it.
A tiny child burrito, and it cannot eat it.
Yeah.
Also, just like it is briefly, guys.
Why?
The raptors are supposed to kill people, but a panicking dude with a pistol takes one out.
Well, I can't wait to hear what that is going to be when I watch the
Yes.
film, because it sounds like a humdinger of a moment.
Just, oh.
Oh, that was awfully close. Yeah, and it's just villains being villains for the sake of being being villains against their own best interests. It's like,
So being basically the villains from Rampage. That level,
Yeah.
of villainy.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
pretty much,
like
That
and
level of cartoonish, like
stupidity.
hand-wringing, laugh like
yeah,
Brian
like in
Fury.
Rampage where they're like, hey, let's call them towards
Yeah,
us.
so they all
and
fight
then they're
each
like,
other.
oh shit, they're coming towards us. How did this happen? Yeah. Well, how did we get onto Jurassic World? I don't know.
No, we
but
were talking about the Meg.
Oh,
And how
yeah.
it might
Yeah.
be this
So-
just Geostorm, but it's got a
got
a big
long
hole in
way
its
to go.
way.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is, I'll admit, some cool shots. Like one
Oh,
or two
yeah.
scenes that I thought were really well made. Chris Pratt. So Chris
Yeah,
Pratt is basically
genuinely funny.
yeah, and he's literally Atlas carrying this globe of a film on his back, and then every now and then the film is like, okay, it's cool, we can take it from here, Chris, you can go for a while, and then it goes whoa, and then he has to like run back in.
Save
and
it.
Gee, it is, but it's insultingly stupid in place. To the point where you get angry that they thought they could, because they're like, oh, we have to get from point A to point B,
So how do we?
so they just
fill the
Occam's
gap?
razor it. Like,
like, well-
it just happens. Ignore
Any semblance
context
of anything.
or logic. Like, the thing we want to happen just happens regardless.
And we're gonna Deus Ex Machina it so hard you're not even.
It's-
It's gonna make your head.
I can't wait till you guys have seen it so we can talk about this in
cannot
detail.
wait. Oh man. It's fine, we'll do like a Jurassic World special like as we're talking about like a riff track or something
Yeah,
for it.
I would love to. We
So
have
the
to
Meg,
retract
good
that.
then. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Meg's looking.
So back to the Meg.
The Meg's looking pretty I gotta say, it is really interesting that international trailer, how differently it's cut.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, what film studios have, or at least what the data seems to show, is that what brings sort of, because obviously this is like they're pandering to the Chinese audience so hard by putting Chinese actors front and center.
Yep.
The irony is that that hasn't proven at all to be a strategy that works.
It has not worked once.
It's
No.
never worked. The thing.
Please see The Wall.
Like-
Was it Great Wall?
And that was actually a
Great
movie
Wall.
produced by a Chinese
Yeah.
company. So
The thing is-
see more recently Transformers,
Pacific Rim Uprising.
Pacific Rim
Pacific Rim.
Uprising.
It doesn't work. I mean, look at something like that does really well there, right? Infinity War. You've got the Fast and the Furious. Those films aren't pandering nearly as hard to that audience, and I think it's because if you are an audience like in a country that sort of idolizes Hollywood. I mean, South Africa is one of those as well.
Yep.
Where, like, you know, Hollywood is like, that's a prestige. If you put a bunch of South Africans in there, it doesn't make it more prestigious. It makes it less.
If anything, it makes it seem more out of place because it's like, what are these people doing there? We know
Yeah.
they're not meant to be there.
Yeah.
So it kills your suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right. It's not like the Chinese audience is sitting there going like, the reason we're not watching a Hollywood film is because there's not enough Chinese people.
I think it's the very American mentality of like when they see an American in anything, they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, America. we're the best."
America!
Whereas
And
other
there's-
countries are a lot more like self-conscious, I guess.
Yeah.
When we see a South African, we're like, oh no, what war crime have they committed that
Yeah.
they're in this film?
I automatically assume if I see a Hollywood film and I see like just a random, I'm not talking like Charlize Theron now. I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
like just like a
God see, and
yeah,
he's South African.
like a random run-of-the-mill South African actor in it, I automatically assume like, okay, cool, this is definitely like a B level budget or a C level budget. This is definitely like someone's passion project. Like you automatic, which is a terrible mentality, but
But it is what it is.
but the data seems to show that a Chinese audience is the same, and that putting Chinese actors front and center is actually lessening its appeal.
Yeah.
Because they want the big budget, the fancy Hollywood.
Just
Just
like,
like-
in The Great Wall, the movie that they made, they're like, all right, let's get Matt Damon.
We're gonna
Yeah.
get Matt Damon and that dude from
Like,
the Game of
who's
Thrones.
the most American-looking actor that we can get? Matt Damon.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. Like the Chinese populace are probably, this is all hearsay, obviously, looking for the same level of escapism that the rest of the world is looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's the Chinese
Sounds
government
strange.
that's pushing all these like China-centric decisions in form to sort of backdoor very badly propaganda like their own people.
The one thing that I do like that they do is that blackout on international films.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
they've got that period. I think that's actually a good thing for their market, especially since they actually have like a legitimate film industry to speak of. It's not like they're trying to get off the ground. Like they've got an actual film industry and
They've
they're
got their
throwing them a
own
bone
version
by
of
saying,
Hollywood.
cool, for this period of time, it's only Chinese films. And there are a lot that make hundreds of millions.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you,
Oh, they
you
are.
look at the top international earners, and a fair portion of them are like Chinese produced.
Yeah, we did that last year.
Yeah.
I watch martial arts movies all the time.
Yeah. So I think that's smart, but that also shows you that the problem is that they sort of idolize or look up to American productions, which is why American studios or the American government will never need to go, okay, cool, for these few weeks only American films, because damn, like our people are just running out to see those
They're just running out to
Chinese
see
films.
those New
And
Zealanders.
the Bollywood film, no, like, so the Chinese government understands that there is this appeal to American films, which is why I can't understand, like, why recut the trailer and put your own actor front and center.
I guess it's all companies that aren't Disney scrambling for another market as Disney just consumes
as
all of
Disney
the
just
local
becomes
market.
this amorphous entertainment blob
It feels
spreading over the earth.
just like rather just hire Matt Damon for a
let's
cameo.
not get crazy.
No,
okay.
hire him for a cameo, one day's work against a green screen, and use all of those scenes in the trailer.
use
That
the
seems
trailer.
like a far better approach.
What, like a Matt Damon version of Seinfeld vision?
Yeah, exactly that. You he's in the film for 2 minutes, but in front of all these different
They just got
background.
VFX plates they've just stuck him on.
Or like in the Infinity War trailer where they like composited Hulk into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one
yeah,
scene.
yeah, yeah.
It's like you just do that. You just put his face over another actor's face.
Just pull a
and in
fast
the movie
one.
it's someone else.
I just want to see Matt
that
Damon's
Chang
head on a
movie in
woman
Community.
and on a child. The black guy.
That Chang movie in Community. They just use the test footage.
That show had no right being that good.
Yeah, so the Meg's gonna be fun.
I hope it's.
Yeah.
I
I really hope it's Geostorm.
Like I
level.
said earlier, I hope it's hard coded with Chinese subtitles for the international release. I hope they are that like flagrant about it. They're just like, "Fuck you, take some Chinese subs."
And it's like the open, like the score in the background every night. You have like the Chinese national anthem, like doing the hero shots.
No, that is the theme, but it's just set in a different key, so you don't immediately recognize.
They just do variations on it.
You know, you've got to have a unified theme in your
And
movie,
like
Dion.
when they see like when they first cut to Jason Statham's character, he's like sitting like in his cabin, he's got like a log fire going. He's there with an acoustic guitar playing the Chinese
American-
national anthem and singing it, and like there's this woman gathered around him like
Just draped across him like a throw rug.
And he just shuns all the Western women.
El Generalissimo.
I just hope Jason Statham gets a chance to give an epic one-liner like Man and Knife in Meg.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
he has to put that in his contract.
Either that or like a heroic Independence Day type speech, but about taking on a megalodon.
Today we take back the oceans, even though they
Man.
weren't ours.
The man comes from the ocean.
This is our Manifest Destiny 2.0.
I've had it with these motherfucking Megs and this man. No.
No. We'll workshop that. It's weird.
I guess the most dangerous predator of all are my machine guns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Just send some fucking Indoraptors in there. Take it out.
They
Just
could-
drop them out of a plane.
Can't
sounds
we add
like-
more raptors to them this time.
You could probably get them to use scuba equipment and like spear guns.
After seeing
Probably.
Jurassic World, yeah, I can.
I
From
think-
what you guys have
That's
told
actually
me.
that would probably be below their pay grade, considering what
Maybe
they're
they can
trained to
operate
do.
a nuclear submarine, and then the Meg can get in an even bigger submarine, and then they can have a submarine fight.
Thomas, don't be silly.
Yeah, I know.
In the rap,
You
they
tell
wouldn't.
Hollywood to stop being silly.
They wouldn't convert an existing nuclear sub to accommodate Indoraptors. That's crazy.
They fit an Indoraptor with a nuclear generator.
Ah, or would they build the submarine in the shape of an Indoraptor?
Yes.
Yes, they
And then
would.
it just becomes Mech Wars!
I like that Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I think they saw that it's a shit show because they started damage control about a month before it came out by saying for the third one we're going back to the tone of the original and we're
Yeah.
ditching the hybrid dinosaurs.
I do remember hearing
How are you
that.
supposed to be invested in the idea
of
with-
hybrid dinosaurs.
with fucking horrible idea to begin with? How are you supposed to be invested in that while watching when you know they've just said that thing we did, we're undoing that.
So
I'm
basically,
ringing that bell.
The direction we were taking, we're now taking a different direction.
So watch this movie in the meantime to tide you over.
So basically, Jurassic World 3 is just gonna be frogs.
I'm okay with that. I like frogs.
Frogs are great.
Frogs are cool.
Okay, so
What other trailers were there?
Yeah, I think that's it for the trailers. Anything else, Marcus? Do we want to say anything? Creed 2.
Creed 2.
Creed 2.
Creed
yes.
to the Creedning.
Yes.
The recreating.
Sorry.
Return to Boxing Mountain.
I'm here to fight. It's like, well, sir, I'm gonna need to see your credentials.
Ayo, air horns. Jason's
Jason
leaving.
just stormed off set.
Offset.
What's your name? Steven Seagal?
Yeah, I'm only here for
Seagal.
3 hours, then I'm on my way.
Gotta meet with the Tibetan Prime Minister.
And I better have a trailer full of Asian girls and a guitar.
Did spit coffee on my carpet.
So Creed 2
Ooh,
then.
close.
It looks good. Michael Jordan looks really good for someone who played basketball in the 90s.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be the idiot to make that mistake.
Yeah. Wow.
I'd feel
I
like
would
a
feel
right.
so foolish,
I
Rachel.
feel like CineBeards call-outs confirmed.
Oh man.
Yo.
Yes.
But
No,
yeah,
it was a well cut trailer.
yes.
Oh, it was.
I like
it looks fantastic.
I like the idea that they only showed like a short snippet of Drago's son's face and the turnaround with just the name Drago on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you barely.
I
see
really
it.
wish they hadn't said in any of the marketing before that he was going up against
Yeah,
Drago.
I
his
would have
son.
liked this to
like
be
if
the reveal.
that had been the
Yeah.
reveal, I would have been like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I would have liked.
But
that.
then again, it is the 21st century, 24-hour news cycle, blah 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 blah.
I
blah.
think,
Yeah.
I think
Hard
it's,
to keep shit like that under wraps.
it's
But look, if Warner Brothers can do it with the Joker in Arkham Knight,
yeah.
I mean,
I think also there's a lot of instances like that because if you hadn't even seen it in the trailer, if you'd seen it just when you got to the cinema, I remember thinking when we watched Thor Ragnarok, you know, where he's where Thor's now going up against like the great champion. Like if you'd been there and you hadn't seen in the marketing that he was up against Gladiator Hulk,
that would have been.
and
an
you were just like, and you suddenly
amazing
see the
moment.
green like going up, and you're like, wait a fucking second, and then like, wow, it would have just been so much better.
yeah, it's just.
Oh well,
Eh.
but I do think
Hey Graham, call us. We'll do your marketing.
I do think it's great that they managed to get Sylvester Stallone for this one. I think that's a pretty good get for the franchise.
And
Yeah,
Dolph
I'm
Lundgren.
I'm glad that he could get a hold of himself to do this movie for him.
Yeah, I think that's a real get for him, and for them, and for the film. It's good that it really feels like it's expanding.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
And also, don't forget that
and
Dolph
actually-
Lundgren is reprising his role as Drago.
Yeah, I think that's also a really good get to get Dolph Lundgren. What Creed
I
actually
mean-
reminds me of a lot is these old. I don't know if you saw Rocky. There were like two or three of them.
Yeah, no. So I'm a little hesitant of Creed 2 because it's not Coogler.
Oh, isn't it?
No,
And
Yeah.
that was a
they were pushing the production forward, and like because of other commitments, he couldn't.
Yeah.
and I think
One of
that-
those commitments being, Black Panther.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a small indie movie.
Yeah, it didn't make much money though.
Yeah.
Sad. But yeah, that was a,
Sad exclamation.
that was a big reason why I think the first one did do so well because it had a really good director.
Yeah,
Who's directing
and
the second one?
The chemistry between Coogler and Michael B. Jordan is
I'm looking it up
Excellent.
now, but it's a relatively seasoned director as well.
yeah.
No, well they wouldn't.
is,
They
but
would
like
after
the-
the success of the first one, they wouldn't give it to any jack off. Wait, no, they might.
Yeah.
Who's the director there, Marcus?
It's Stephen Capel Jr. I'm just looking up what else he's done.
More like Stephen Capable Jr.
We hope.
Let's just give that a moment.
What, that great pun? Just let it resonate through the podcast.
It's just
That was good.
what does it say, Marcus?
What does the tome say?
The tome says he has directed a couple of things, but nothing that I've personally seen.
Titanic, Avatar.
Bridge on the River Kwai.
Full Metal Jacket.
So you guys know how, we're not really getting any Spider-Man stuff coming from Sony, no spin-offs or anything like that.
Yeah,
We are.
What?
Oh shit! I gave it away. Like
You
was gonna
gave
build
away
up
the
to
bit,
that.
yeah. They're doing a Silk movie now too.
Sulk.
Yeah, the Spider Lady. Silk. Marcus knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah, Sulk.
Yeah, you can keep saying it all you
Yeah,
want. It's not gonna.
Sulk is a female minority version of Spider-Man, essentially. That's
Alright.
the short
like-
version.
Spider-Man's America Chavez.
Yes.
Okay.
Like how Miles Morales was, like Spider-Man but black.
Okay.
Sulk is Spider-Man, but I believe I can't remember her ethnicity, but she is a minority female
Yeah.
in the Western.
Pretty much.
Cool.
Sony
Blames.
got dollar figures in their eyes, and they're like, "Yes, let's do this one."
Cool. Any production deets?
Nope,
Just
it's
an announcement.
Just an announcement of like the 18th Spider-Man spin-off that
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 they're
Sony's
currently
doing.
cooking
As
up.
soon as they sign that
Is
deal
that a
with
faci-
Marvel,
is that
they're
a-
like, fuck yes,
is that
we're
a
gonna
f-
do all of these.
Is that a facetious number, or are you serious?
No, that's a facetious number.
Okay,
It's closer
because
to about
the-
it's closer
what-
to about 8. I
What
think.
makes me terrified is that I honestly couldn't tell.
Yeah. because
I wasn't
because with
sure.
the reality currently
It's like
being what it is.
when you say there's like 6 Joker movies in development or movies featuring him, I was like,
that number has gone up, I believe.
Yeah, with different actors.
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh my god.
Because why have one film when you could have more?
Exactly.
You know, it's like how you say. You know, imagine how, they say less is more. Imagine how much more is.
That sounds amazing. I can't wait to see every single Joker film.
I
Because
can't
know
wait to watch a
every one
supercut
them.
of all of them spliced together.
Oh my word, that would be amazing.
Eh?
Yeah.
Amy Pascal has been attached to produce, is all they say, and she's
Interesting.
she's a Korean American.
Okay.
That's the one.
There we go.
Yeah, well, dollar signs in their eyes. It's fine by me.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to try and push it to the Chinese audience because it's a Korean American.
Exactly.
They're
Are
gonna
they
re-
vaguely Asian? Well, we know a market that's
Boy,
gonna
do
love
we have a
them.
market for you! You guys got hard subs?
But joking aside, I mean, god damn it, Sony, just let it go. just stop.
Just give it up.
You know what the terrifying thing is? None of the post Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man spin-off stuff has come out yet.
Yeah.
That is true.
None of it's come out yet. But
And
there
they've
is-
announced like 7 of them.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of eggs in one basket situation.
It kind
Where
of
have
feels
I heard
like
that
it-
before?
It feels so familiar.
I think Andrew Garfield was
uh,
attached at one point.
Oh no, I thought Dion was gonna go to the old well of
Yeah,
of let-
no,
Yeah,
I am.
that's where I was
I ain't
going
done
as
with that
well.
well. Like,
Well, I pulled up a news story specifically so we could get back to that well.
awesome.
Oh, and I was
But
trying
we'll
to
get there
avoid
later.
going back
No.
to that well.
Well,
let's-
is forever.
Let's
Well, then blame the cinematographer Batman v Superman who doesn't understand why people hate the movie.
let's drop a child back in that well, shall we?
You can't. It's just children in there. It's not even a well at this point. It's just a
pile of wet
masquerade.
children.
They're spilling out onto the ground.
It's a nightmare. The groundskeeper's so pissed. It's just child
Timmy's
skeletons.
trapped down the well. No, he isn't. He's next to the fucking well. Well, yeah, he couldn't fit, but use your imagination, goddammit.
Timmy's fallen on the wet kids by the well.
Ew, they're decomposing.
So, Jason, let's drop another one on the pile,
So,
shall we?
wait,
Yeah,
is that the
it's-
synopsis for Ring 8?
As directed by Warner Brothers.
It's just the villain of Ring 8 just standing by this wall of children. Ooh boy. Ooh boy.
I don't feel good about this.
Ooh.
And they've all got Batman v Superman tattoos.
Oh, you know,
Bat
somewhere out there, someone saw that logo and they're like, "This is sick! I can't wait for this movie. I'm gonna sort of burn some time while waiting for it by getting a tattoo of that sick logo." Oh,
Yeah, I love that movie so much. I want a keychain of that logo and to carry it with me always.
I
Hey.
carry my
Call
shame.
out.
okay?
yeah, no.
I
like,
carry my shame with me.
we own our shame. The thing is, sometimes like you don't just wear or carry a symbol to remind you of good things. You also wear them or carry them as a warning to yourself. You know, to remind, never forget. You know,
Like 9/11.
9/11, never forget.
Batman v Superman. 9/11.
Never-
Basically the same thing.
Same thing. Never forget.
Never forget.
Yeah, exactly. Don't support Batman v Superman. Don't crash planes into buildings.
Easy stuff.
Both
people.
of those are
This
good
has
common
been
sense
this
things.
has
Day
been a
to day.
CineBeards public service announcement.
Yeah, that's like an after-school special. Like,
Yeah.
hey Timmy, you want to go crash some planes into some buildings? No.
And then at that
I have
point,
this Batman v Superman keychain to remind me not to do that.
and then at that point, Captain America flips the chair around and says, "So, some jokers asked you to crash a plane into a building. Or some jokers asked you to watch Batman v Superman.
Your body's going through some change.
You're feeling angsty and edgy.
Todd McFarlane seems really appealing.
So objectivism is looking good to you.
Hey, speaking of objectivism, and what was that story? Because there is another one.
Oh, that story was, the cinematographer saying he doesn't understand why people hate the movie.
Oh, really? Is that a real thing?
Was that the real story? Okay,
well-
cool.
Okay, tell me the whole story. Just lay it out for me.
Basically, the cinematographer is sick and tired of people coming up to him and going like, "Oh man, that movie was so shit. I mean, you did good. You did your job really well, but the movie as a whole was shit."
But
you
he
see,
really didn't, though. I mean,
No, but his
it
the
was so
cine was
ugly to
not,
look at.
Yeah, it was ugly to look at, but the cinematography was not the problem there. The problem of the film looking hideous was the subpar CG, was the piss poor frame. Like, it was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot
The
of that
framing was so bad.
Yeah, the framing was terrible, but the cine itself was not the weakest link.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No.
Like he was perfectly realizing a terrible vision.
Yeah, so I would feel bad for him, but
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he got paid well enough.
Exactly, so
Well,
he can
I
just
mean,
cry on his pile of money.
But here's the thing, right? He allowed, okay, this is going a bit deeper, but he allowed Zack
could
Snyder
not do
to
nothing.
talk him into shooting on 35mm film instead of digital.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, it's not a question of he let himself be talked into. It's that Zack Snyder's his boss.
Yeah.
And
but
he
still,
has to do what his boss says.
Yes, but still, a good
According
cinematographer.
to the cinematographer, they were partners, and this is a baby they made together.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That
So
the- oh.
he does carry some of the blame, but the thing is, like when you're doing that heavy CG, I've read interviews with other cinematographers, how when you are relying that heavily on compositing and green screen and CG, it's not smart to shoot on 35mm
Well, no,
film.
because it's a disgusting amount of extra work.
Yeah, that and it always like you can never blend it seamlessly enough. That's also why there's so much smoke effects, particles, sparks.
if you
just to
could
hide everything.
blend it seamlessly, then we wouldn't need to film on film at all.
No,
Anyway,
ever.
Oh, reading through the quote here, I see what the problem is. The cinematographer must be a fan, because he's saying, critics see a film. The films I like, no one seems to like. So clearly, he's a fan that Zack Snyder made the movie for.
I like that critics are always as soon as a film is reviewed badly, suddenly critics become like this homogenous group where
Yeah,
they just
this amorphous consciousness that
they're just like they're like the fucking Freemasons or something.
yeah, or the high. They've got
Rotten
some.
Tomatoes.
They've got some
Or
hive
to
mind.
quote the marketers behind Gotti, they are trolls behind keyboards. That's what critics are.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not like,
Yeah.
you know,
Like, they
Siskel and
released this
Ebert
whole
have been doing it for
campaign.
decades.
After Gotti got like such bad reviews, like 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, even though it's a bullshit site. Like on the official Gotti Twitter, the marketing team had this whole video of like who you gonna trust, yourself
So
or
basically,
some troll
so
behind
so
the
basically they
keyboard.
Uwe Bolled it.
So
Yes.
basically what they're
Yeah,
saying is
pretty
like,
much.
give us money, because in order to trust yourself, you first have to pay to see the film.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, you can't review something without seeing it.
So anyway, the thing I want to mention was actually a couple of weeks ago. Zack Snyder is doing an adaptation of Ayn Rand's fantastic, phenomenal best book in the universe, The Fountainhead.
Oh, did he finally get that greenlit?
He
'Cause
finally
he's
got
been
that
trying
greenlit.
for ages. Yeah. I can see why Warner Brothers wanted him to direct Superman, because he definitely understands the characters.
No, but he actually does understand the characters in The Fountainhead, because remember, it's about
Because
an
they are
artist
him.
Yeah.
that is brilliant and like so
But the
far
world
beyond anyone
rejects him.
else, but the world rejects him, and his biggest enemy are critics of his architecture firm.
Wow.
It's basically the Zack Snyder story.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, is this just like at the end inspired by true events?
Based on a true story, and then it's just like it's like based on a true story, and then there's like a photo of him on set, like a Batman v
No,
Superman.
no, no! It's that
the
famous
way-
one
the way
where he's
I
like,
had-
where he's like in the vest with the Batman gauntlet on, like signing something. You've
Or
seen
just a
that?
clip
In
of
my
him
mind,
and
it was
Hans.
just the main character, the actor, whoever they get to play the main character, just looking up into the screen and just morphing into Zack Snyder.
Or just at the end, just gonna be that clip of him and Hans Zimmer,
Yeah,
and him going,
Whoa.
and Hans like rubbing his brow weirdly.
Oh, poor Hans. Oh, Hansi.
Just this signed photo of him.
Or a link to his biography at the end.
So that's a thing that's happening.
I can't believe. Oh man. Well, in more good news, you know how Dion, how you love both Shia LaBeouf and David Ayer.
Absolutely.
They are now working on a movie together. Yes, Thomas.
Is this the movie about his life?
But whose life?
Shia LaBeouf.
No,
this is the movie.
That sounds like the worst thing in the world.
Shia LaBeouf is playing Shia LaBeouf's father in the movie about Shia LaBeouf.
That is fucking amazing.
Do you not know about that?
No.
Dude, okay, so...
It's not amazing, it's
Yeah, no,
horrifying.
Shia LaBeouf is making a movie in which he plays his father.
That's really dumb.
Yeah.
The thing that really that annoys the shit out of me about Shia LaBeouf, and it's the same thing that's been pissing me off about Jim Carrey, is that you can see so fucking clearly like how PR firms are reshaping their image in the wake of like controversy,
Yeah.
and how everyone just fucking laps it up. Like with Shia LaBeouf, it's like there was the whole massive
I'm not famous
plagiarism.
anymore. The whole plagiarism thing.
The massive and then he first tried to defend himself, and then he was like just caught red-handed, and they found even more examples. He's like, oh no, the plagiarism was a performance piece. This whole and then he'd put out those just do it videos.
Yeah, no, he's a
and-
complete sham.
and the
Same
whole
as
thing
Jim
is
Carrey,
literally
it's
just
a
like
complete sham.
that's just hundreds of thousands of dollars being paid to PR firms going like, fix me.
Now
And-
have a mental breakdown.
yeah, and Jim Carrey like bankrolling fucking the anti-vaccine movement and the legal claims against
No,
him.
you can't speak bad about Jim Carrey. He's all woke now.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
the thing. Is like
hashtag.
How many times have I seen on my fucking Facebook timeline people are like, oh, people say he's weird, but I think people always say that about the people that have really seen.
How
the
many times have you
truth.
seen that fucking quote about like, oh, solitude is dangerous?
Yeah.
Because when you like don't have people, you realize you don't need them.
Do you know what else is dangerous, Thomas?
Tell me.
Fucking polio.
Yeah, that is true.
Not just
true.
that, but also transphobia. When last did you watch Ace Ventura, which he co-wrote?
Oh, Ace Ventura 1.
Yeah, which he
Yeah.
co-wrote.
That has not aged well.
That is one of those things that has
Aged as
fallen.
well as Jim
As Jim
Carrey
Carrey, that is
himself.
one of those things that's fallen on the wrong side of progressive history.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as naming a movie The Indian in the Cupboard in 2018.
Yeah. But it's it's just such transparent
Lies.
fucking
It's lies.
yeah, it's just absolute, and just watching people who think of themselves as very like enlightened and like basically lapping up the bullshit spewing out of
Okay,
a PR
look,
firm.
To be fair, I've not seen a single person share that Jim Carrey thing who isn't a regular drug user.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Only people who are recreational or regular drug
yeah,
users do
for
share.
sure.
Like,
Absolutely.
not a single person on my Facebook who has shared that Jim Carrey video is not on
Is not
drugs
taking
constantly.
MD on trance festivals on the weekend.
And they're seeing this as like validation of their lifestyle
Well, yeah,
choices.
because it's a famous person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're also woke white
He's
people.
a millionaire
who-
telling me
Yeah,
about how
actually
money doesn't
care.
matter.
Yeah,
Hooray!
yeah, it's the best.
That's a millionaire who took a paid trip on fucking first class to go to a fashion show just to talk about how the fashion
Yeah.
show is meaningless and nobody should be there.
Yeah, didn't fly economy class.
Yeah. Flew first class, probably like nice hotel.
I guarantee you didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No, because it
His-
means nothing, Thomas.
His sort of like wokeness reminds me of, and like it's something I started to notice as I got older and surlier, of like Banksy. Banksy's like, cell phones are bad, where it's like a phone like handcuffed to
Yeah.
your thing, and it's like Facebook going in a drip to your arm. It's like, yes, Banksy, cell phones are bad. We are all disconnected. We're fucking not. Like, none of that shit is real.
The funny thing is, like, and the way that he sort of, that his fame spreads and that people get to know about him and that his livelihood mostly depends on is exactly that kind of social media exposure.
Yes, exactly.
It's the people on Facebook who talk to other people going like, "You're a bunch of sheep, man."
Also, it's not like it's not
How many Facebook likes does Banksy have?
It's base hypocritical. Like,
I mean, it's not like he's got a music career to fall back on or anything.
it's just.
Oh, you're
such...
talking about the reveal that Banksy's actually just a lame white dude.
Yeah, he's the dude in Massive Attack or something.
Yeah, it's just such trash, and it's just it's so try hard. It's so like, oh, against the system, fight the man. Cell phones are bad. They're really not though. They
No,
help
they're
us
really-
be an interconnected society and better than ever before, but they're very bad.
Yeah, they're very bad. It's not like emergency services have
Yeah.
used it to great effect to find people
Or
before tragedy
any
strikes.
millions of numbers of like how great technology is.
And basically forced horror movie makers to sort of develop and push forward their art form because, like, you can't just be
You
stuck
can't
in the
just
middle
cut
of
the phone anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which they did, which was
So cell
great.
phones are
Objectively
are
good.
to thank for the current renaissance in horror films.
Yes,
Thanks, not Banksy.
And
which
I will never
reminds me,
stop saying that.
which reminds me,
not
last week,
Banksy.
It's a great watch.
last week I finally watched Hush.
yeah, it was great.
Oh, I've
good.
not seen it yet. You be quiet your faces.
Wait, didn't you watch it with me?
No?
Oh, didn't you?
No.
I always assume
You've been
any.
cheating on me,
I
Dion.
assume like any lower budget horror film that I've seen.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
horror
that's
film
because you've been
with a
cheating on
budget
me.
less
Which
than
one's
$2
Hush?
million.
It's the one where the deaf woman is stuck
Oh
in
yes,
the house.
I have seen that. I have seen that. Hush is really
No,
good.
the premise is a deaf woman stuck in a house.
Yeah, no,
that's
that-
not a
Well, now
spoiler.
it's fucking ruined. Might as well tell me the whole story.
No, yes, I have seen
really
that.
good-
It's
and I like
solid.
that the two people, the main people in it are
Are
the two
both
that
demon possessed.
that
Yeah.
well, no, yeah, that too, and that
Guys!
hermaphrodites,
Yeah.
that they workshopped it, like
Yes.
almost like a theater piece. But then, like when they actually went to location to shoot, like the house was laid out differently, so they had to rewrite parts of the script
Yeah.
to like
Really?
accommodate. Yeah,
Oh,
like
that's cool. Because I heard of that they workshopped it
Yeah,
before.
but
Yeah.
that's the point, like what you were saying, how they had to evolve the art form, because they actually make a clear point of that movie of cutting her communication off.
yeah,
That was a good movie.
by cutting out her tongue.
Hey,
Oh no, shit! Sorry.
But
I
no,
will tell
it
you who
was-
they feed it to, and what that awakes.
It's the demon.
No.
But yeah, there was.
And then Mick Gordon just busts in
the
going...
Just like a 5-minute music video in the middle.
It's basically Queen of the Damned.
But yes,
Or the
so
Professor Spacetime. Especially the holiday special. All right. What's
Alright.
next? Fuck Shia LaBeouf.
Fuck Shia LaBeouf.
To be fair, David Ayer did actually get the one good performance out of him.
yes.
So
there's.
I've got nothing
there's
against David
that.
Ayer. I
And
just
it
hate
is
Shia
another World
LaBeouf.
War II movie. So,
I'll watch that.
yeah, could be.
Go for it.
As long as Shia LaBeouf is cast as a detestable human being again, he should be fine.
As long as they keep typecasting him, it's good.
As himself?
Yeah.
So Jason, here's the thing: we haven't talked about our parent company Disney in such a long time.
Yeah, I know, dude. I'm
Hey,
actually starting to
Marcus,
get worried
just-
about
just-
my cash flow.
Tonight I show you guys the article open on my phone.
What's this? Let me see, let me
Disney
see.
rejects something.
Oh wow. Okay.
The article says that Disney reportedly rejected Lucasfilm's plan to delay Solo to December.
Cool.
Bad fucking move. Oh, also apparently all those stories about them
Yeah,
putting the
those are
solo
fake.
films on hold
What's-
are
what-
yeah,
bullshit.
what story?
There were a lot of stories
that
about
thing
them
that
putting
Collider
the
ran.
Yeah,
their
that-
solo full like the standalone films on hold.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
apparently
that's
that's,
all
that's
stories.
all
bullshit.
bullshit.
It's all
Disney,
horseshit.
Disney and Lucasfilm released a statement saying like, no, they are still definitely a go.
Yeah.
The thing that
Why wouldn't they be?
that obviously you have to take any report like that with a pinch of salt. But I mean that does make sense because surely one of the two parties saw like, hey,
Maybe go back to the drawing
like
board.
we've had all these issues, like everything else has come out in December, Infinity War's coming out. But that is a good point. That also that Solo wasn't Disney's highest priority.
No,
No.
there
No,
were
it wasn't.
way
No.
bigger hitters coming out.
And it was fine for what it was. That was the point. It's a fun little time waster with the Star Wars characters.
No. But the thing is, what they, I think, really releasing it in May with all the issues and like the
Such a
botched
big
marketing, versus releasing it in December. In December, it really had a chance to make twice
it had a
as much
chance
money
to be on
easily.
its own.
Yeah,
They
because
could have
there's
put
no
the full
big-
force of the marketing
Right.
division behind it.
Oh,
What's
there's not
what's the
Exactly.
Big Ten poll that's coming out in December this year?
nothing.
Disney's not.
No,
got
they do
much.
have one.
The one that
they?
they're doing like close to the holidays is Wreck-It Ralph 2.
No, it's
Thanksgiving
another
weekend.
one.
Yeah, I mean, Captain Marvel's only next year.
Yes.
As far as I know, the end of the year is pretty open for Disney.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Who knows? Because the tickets still aren't on sale.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is in 2 weeks, dude. That's nowhere near the end
Yeah,
of the
well, I
year.
don't believe that because the tickets still aren't on sale.
It's very annoying.
Oh, Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh, that thing.
That's the one that they're apparently putting a lot of
Now
stock
she's
in
out
that.
for blood.
Yeah, and that's coming. That's basically
Vietnam
exactly.
Is she played by Yondu?
Yes.
I would be really disappointing
Michael
if she
Rooker.
isn't. But that's
No,
where that's the
Yondu
one that's
specifically.
in their. That's the one that's in the Star Wars slot this year.
Okay.
And they're apparently putting a lot of stock in that for
Did,
whatever
did
reason.
they feel Solo
Why?
and Mary Poppins were too similar?
Too similar in tone.
Yeah. Well, I guess remember their
Too
marketing,
overlapping in the
the way they do
marketing.
their.
Yeah, because this story's about Mary Poppins when she was a young space outlaw.
Ah.
Well, it's not so much the it is overlapping demographics
Yeah,
to a
with
large
kids,
extent,
'cause kids in
and
space.
also the way they do their marketing. I mean, they do stuff like where they take over restaurant chains, and they really don't want to be pushing two tentpoles at the same time. Just with the way they market, because they will necessarily have to split it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the tent falls over and all the children burn to death.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was their thing, is they just put their foot down and said, like, Mary Poppins Returns, that's our tentpole for the year, that's in December, we're not moving it.
Fair enough.
And I mean that is going to be, I mean, for us it's like, why? But a Mary Poppins film, like, marketed
It'll do
as
gangbusters.
old school Disney coming out over Christmas.
It'll do money,
Holy
man.
shit,
It'll
that's
do
gonna make
big
money.
It's gonna
Yeah.
do more money than that Grinch movie.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So,
Also,
yeah, that's-
Dumbo's coming early next year, isn't it?
Oh yes, Dumbo.
Yeah.
A
That looks
movie that I
interesting.
completely is
I keep
foreign
forget-
to me as a Tim Burton film because it doesn't have Johnny Depp or
Yeah.
Helena Bonham
Yeah.
Carter in
It's
it.
really
which is
strange.
fucking
Weird, and it's
bizarre.
not like all black and purple.
I know.
There's color.
It looks
What's
like
going on?
the color and
Tim Burton
my
just like
girl,
directing it, just like constantly in tears.
got my girl Ava Green in there. Like, yo,
It's
already.
like he's like he's secretly like WhatsApping Johnny Depp, like, Johnny, please come on, just
Johnny,
be
I miss
just be in the
you."
background, and like a Disney exec comes and like takes the phone out of his hand and crushes it, and then like
and just sends Johnny Depp another bag of cocaine so he
they
forgets.
sends Johnny Depp a message, I'm fine, don't ask where I am.
I am safe. He just does one of those Vietnam
then just, like-
Pyongyang
and
prisoner
then just
things, and he's
crushes
blinking SOS.
He just crushes the phone in his hand, like.
I like this picture that's emerging. It's a good picture.
Yeah.
But I mean, Colin Farrell, Ava Green, they're good actors.
Yes.
No, I mean, I'm
I'll-
sure
I'll
it's
watch,
gonna be.
I will watch a fucking Tim Burton film without Helena Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp in them. Any
Yeah,
day.
actually,
that
I've
doesn't
been
look like a
dying-
complete gloom fest.
I've been
Yeah.
dying for one of those because
Yeah.
How
you
many
remember there
times
was
on set do you think he called for them?
every time.
Well, remember, he's going to speak
Every
to...
time he told the actor to change positions, like, okay, so Johnny, what up? Sorry,
calling
so sorry.
each
No, but here's the thing, though. Like, you can't expect Tim Burton to not call his wife. Yes, they live in different houses,
Aren't
but...
they're
They're
divorced?
split.
They're
They're split.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, you
separated
can't
for a
expect
long
him to
time.
not phone his ex-wife.
The
His phone just does 3 buttons. Is it Danny
Helena.
Elfman doing the
Yeah,
music again?
okay, cool. They couldn't. He couldn't go cold
So he's
turkey.
got one of his cornerstones there.
The thing is, do you remember that there was a time when Tim Burton and Johnny Depp separately were both seen as these like incredibly exciting
Yeah.
new
Think about Big Fish. Think about
talents that sort of could just do this wide range of things, and they were
Absolutely.
unpredictable, and then they found each other and they just settled and they just let themselves go.
Right.
No,
Like Tim Burton should have never made Edward Scissorhands with Johnny Depp.
That's the thing is, I mean, it was so great,
Yeah, I
but
love
then
that
they're
movie.
like, let's do that again.
Hey, what if we did that all the time?
Yeah.
like forever?
And never changed.
It's like, okay, yeah, all right,
I could
do
use
that.
a steady job.
it's, it's a paycheck.
So what other news do you have?
What else
there?
you got for us?
So they are rebooting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Again,
Rebooting.
Rebooting.
in what form? Is this a new animated
No,
series?
a new live action
All right.
series of movies.
I'm always
What? Why?
I'm always keen for more turtles.
Why?
Yeah, I mean that animated show.
Well,
looks really cool.
because turtles for some reason is just unkillable. Like the animated series do really well, the films have done really well financially, the toys always do well. There's just no reason not to do more turtles.
Yeah, but come on.
Remember, we're not we're never gonna be again the target market for
Yeah, no,
Ninja
I get
Turtles.
that.
Why? I
but,
want
like,
my
I
gritty
would-
spawn turtles.
Seriously, if I had kids, like I would want there to be turtles to take them to.
Yeah,
Like there should always be more turtles, as long as it's decent.
but also if I had kids, I would have already made quite a few mistakes.
Yeah, see, if I had kids, I'd probably have killed myself by this point.
That's true. But then you'd want whoever looked
No,
after
they would
the
have killed you.
children.
Have you ever seen a kid? Creepy as fuck.
Dude,
are.
they watch
Well,
you
we just
when you
watched
sleep.
Incredibles 2, man.
Yeah, if film is anything to go by, if
If
film is anything to go by, children are terrifying murderers.
Yeah, I watched
That's
The
all they
Omen.
are.
Yeah.
As we will, as we will explain
Speaking
in
of
next week's
which,
episode.
speak of which, you remember that guy, Child's Play?
Yeah,
DeMarco, or what's his name?
Don Mancini.
Don Mancini.
Yeah.
He has been pitching successfully, from what I've read, a TV show of Child's Play.
Oh yeah, no, but that's been in development for a while.
Hopefully
Yeah.
it's better
The
than
thing
the
that
most
he's been
recent
pitching,
movie.
the thing that he's been pitching, which we discussed last time, was
The
the
crossover.
Child's Play
Yeah.
on Elm Street. Oh no, the TV series
Yeah.
has been in active development for a long time.
Oh shit! I
It's
should
just
read
one of
the
those
news
things.
more
It's
often.
just one of those things that sort of like it goes and then it's like
Yeah.
it halts and then it goes and then it halts. But it's sort of it's been picked up and everyone's been like yay okay and then it's just like
So like
little
Alfred
roadblocks.
Alvarez this week was also like saying he would be down to make a sequel to his version of Evil Dead.
yes I would love
Yeah,
that.
I saw that.
Yeah,
as
like
well.
he's down for that if the story is good.
Yeah.
And
I'm down
behind
for that.
Yeah.
Like
Who
I think
isn't?
that was a very
the
Bruce
same-
Campbell.
Yeah.
Well, no, Bruce Campbell's down for it being made.
Yeah, he's
I
just
mean, he
not
was
down.
a producer on the first
Yeah,
release.
I know, but he had the whole like little groovy post credits thing.
Yeah, well, he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm done with...
Oh yeah, no, he's retired the character now.
yeah. But I mean,
And I'm willing to bet he's gonna stick to his guns on that one.
yeah.
He's weird enough.
I just know I really enjoyed that Evil Dead reboot,
Yeah.
remake, whatever
no,
you want
it was
to call
really
it.
good.
I
And
thought
I
the,
wouldn't mind a sequel to
I thought
that.
the sequel would be done already because they
Yeah,
were talking
right.
about it like immediately.
Because I mean, it did pretty damn well at the box office too.
It would have been so good if they could have done like old Evil Dead, new Evil Dead crossover thing. I would have fucking loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it! Why didn't they make it beforehand?
Yeah.
Before Bruce Campbell retired the character.
Before Stars cancelled Ash vs Evil Dead. Again, like as soon as I saw that Stars is just in limited territories, like mostly in the US, immediately I was like, okay, cool. This is like it's on borrowed time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is...
It's the worst possible model. Like,
Yeah,
let's have a
people will-
premium streaming service that is only catering to a select portion of the
Yeah,
world.
look,
Yeah,
it
because
being
that worked so well for CISO and other such channels.
Yeah.
the thing is, it's probably going to end up in our Netflix like 2 years from now.
Yeah.
I would gather, and then people will rediscover Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah, but by then it's
It's done.
Yeah,
the
it's done and
groundswell.
over.
The groundswell's
Yeah.
over.
Any other news?
Oh, we didn't really finish talking about the turtles.
No.
Oh yeah, so what's the
Yeah,
the
so who's
pitch
doing
there?
what
What's
there?
the angle?
All we know so far is the writer, a guy by the name of Andrew Dodge.
Andrew Dodge. Who's he?
He wrote one film back in 2013 called Bad Words. Never saw it.
Never heard it.
So there's just a writer attached at this point.
And it's actually the same dude who's writing Space Jam 2.
So Space Jam 2. Holy shit, what a trip. What?
Yeah, isn't it like LeBron James in it this
LeBron
time?
James.
Yes, it is LeBron James.
Did he also play baseball?
Yes. Actually, he did. No, he played
Hey,
football.
he played football.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
basketball.
god.
Hey, man's a good athlete.
Yeah, he was a good athlete.
Terry Crews was not a good athlete.
No, he was not.
A great
Terry
actor, though.
Crews was a good featured extra in Training Day, though.
Yes.
The funny thing is, Terry Crews may not have been a great athlete, but I think he's probably in much better shape than most of the people he played alongside.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, the only reason he stopped being an athlete because of a knee injury back in college. He was actually on the track to
I've
being
heard
a...
that Bruce Willis
he wasn't.
unbreakable
No, he wasn't. He
excuse
was.
before. Thanks very much.
He played in the NFL for a
think
few
Troy
seasons.
Bond.
I think he played.
Yeah.
Terry Crews played for like 6 different teams in 8 years or something, or 8 teams in 6 years. One of those. No, he was an actual pro football player, and then he went into acting. He says himself like he was not very good.
Yeah.
That being said, the bar is like so high. Like
I'm not very good.
I'm not very good. He said, towering over other humans and crushing them before him.
Also, I'm a little out of shape.
I'm in a lot of shape. 6'6", 160 kilograms of pure muscle, 2% body fat.
Yeah.
Could we get Terry Crews to play Conan?
Terry Crews?
Nah, he's not hammy enough.
Yeah, he's not. He's also not like. Terry Crews is just like he just
Terry
makes you
Crews
feel
is
like
too
he's
charming.
a nice dude.
He's
yeah,
too charming.
He's
Yeah,
like
he's-
Conan can't
Conan
be that
needs
kind
to
of.
head-
Come on!
things.
What's the greatest
Well,
thing
I
in
don't know.
life?
Last time they were like, "Hey, Conan's not charming. Let's go for an actor who's
No,
not
but
charming."
just picture this, right? You've got Terry Crews sitting on the skull throne in Conan, and it's like, the greatest thing in life is eating yogurt out of the skull of your enemies.
Terry loves you.
Terry loves his
I
yogurt.
would love a Terry Crews led Conan spoof.
Yes.
That
A
would
theatre
be.
production
that would be-
of Conan featuring Terry Crews.
It would be glorious. You know what? They should give Terry Crews his own game.
Yes.
That's what they should do. Like they should really like.
They should
crack
take their
down
time
on that.
with
They
it.
should
So-
crack down on
Yeah.
it, like,
Yeah,
really
don't
hard.
rush it out. Just
Don't
really
rush it.
take your time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no one better to make that type of game than make Microsoft Game Studios.
For sure.
I mean, they would nail it,
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely.
Absolutely perfect.
All right.
and now a little a story that like brought like joy to my heart. Taika Waititi has cast Stephen Merchant in his upcoming World War II movie.
Yes!
Like that's just great.
It's just
Yep.
That's just great.
that's
Yep.
just fantastic news. That's green all across the board.
Yeah, that's checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh so hard in that movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a kidder. What a
What
kid.
a
What a-
silly fella.
What
you
a
know?
silly fella.
Oh, so many goofs.
What a rambunctious youngster.
Oh, so tall and gangly.
How do his arms even work?
And he talks foreign.
It's like he's not even human.
Love it.
But yeah, that's a great headline for me.
Yeah. I think that's a good note to end on because there's just some of the stuff has been
What
so
a positive
fucking depressing.
note.
Positive note.
CineBeards leaving you feeling
Oh,
good.
one more thing.
CineBeards leaving you feeling bad.
No, yeah, one more thing. Warner Brothers still sucks a big old bag of dicks.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's more olds than news.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you
it's
know, I
it's
just
important
thought
to continue the
because
message.
people might be listening and they might not be sure. They might be like,
What if this is their first CineBeards?
yeah, they might
Yeah,
not
that is true.
know.
At that
might
point,
not
we
know.
should also probably mention that we're all for the fact that Disney upped their Fox bid by $18 billion.
That's just, like, that's just what a dick slap right there. It's just like,
Comcast like, hey man, like, we could give you a little bit more.
the joke is
Bam.
like if you look at how Comcast was like doing because they wanted to go for a cash bid,
Yeah.
and they're putting in like loans and they're like talking to banks and like setting up the funding ahead of time. They're just like, we're gonna go all in and just do a ridiculous bit.
then Disney's
And
just like,
this-
"We raise-"
Disney did like a really bad fake trip and just dropped all their wallets.
This bag of gold.
This is just like, oh, sorry, what's this behind the mountain of Disney stock? $18 billion. We just left it. You want that as well?
I mean, like, we had it. I forgot about it, Dave. Did you forget about it, Jeff? I forgot about it.
Oh no, I left some Disney stock in my pile of cash.
they just like the thing is that it's not like they even just matched the bid or just slightly up the thing. Just went whack.
But I mean, even if you look at it from a business perspective, it is a hell of a jump because remember they were offering to buy Fox's shares at $28 a share. This new offer upped it to $38.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's not even like it's not even an
per
increment.
share.
It's a massive exponential
I
jump.
just imagine just Mr. Disney sitting there like, I grow tired of this bidding.
I grow weary of the squabbling of peasants.
It's like you're playing. It's like you're playing basketball against someone, right? Like a nice little one-on-one, and they're like, you dunk, and then they dunk like a little more convincingly.
So then you shoot them.
and you're like, okay, cool. So then you're like, you go with your all, and you fucking like, yeah, and you're like standing there sweating. You're like, oh my god, I gave my best. And they take off their mask, and they're Michael B. Jordan.
I was going to say they take their mask and they're just 6 Larry Birds.
And he just leaps from a standstill.
20 meters in the air, throws the basketball so hard it breaks the speed of sound, and
then-
demolishes the goal and
And
breaks
then
your
lands
legs.
next to you, and he goes, "Your move." It's like, oh, what? And then he slaps you with his dick,
And you're not sad
and
about
you're pretty
it.
sure it's a mouse dick. Just a big old mouse dick.
Wow. That's a vivid picture. So many.
That's
And
how.
Michael B. Jordan retires to Valhalla to slumber and feed.
So this is how analogies work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just
So
checking.
it's extended.
It's like you're trying to make an analogy, and then Michael B. Jordan comes along and makes a much better analogy.
it is exactly. It's the Michael B. Jordan of analogies.
Oh.
What a great basketball.
Did you guys, singers are getting listen, have you guys seen that remix trailer where someone basically made a Black Panther trailer but from the eyes of Killmonger? Like selling Killmonger as the hero.
it in a couple of headlines and stuff, but never got around to actually watching
I
it.
actually watched it. It's like there was enough footage there and they edited smart enough to actually make Killmonger look like the hero.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that was a fun little 1-minute watch.
I'll check it out.
Yes.
And on that note,
All right.
Which was a B sharp, I think.
Yeah. It's
Michael
better
B.
known
Jordan.
as a C.
Yeah.
Let's go get us some crabbies.
Yeah.
The
Oh, wow.
recommendations.
Shut up! I'm thirsty. I'm really thirsty.
We have actual crabbies.
No. It's a bit.
It's a bit.
Oh.
Why don't you bring crabbies? Why don't Thomas bring crabbies?
Because I'm shit.
Oh yeah.
He's got you there.
Oh,
Joke's on you and
me.
only
Oh, no.
you and definitely not me.
All right, recommendations.
Recommendations. I'm gonna recommend Incredibles 2 again because I went to go see it the day of this recording and it is good. It is
Oh,
Can
no, I saw
corroborate.
you gave it a thumbs up. Oh shit.
ruined. Or if you're looking for a really fucking good time, go see Jurassic World because it's hilarious.
I really want to watch.
so
I
bad.
have to get to it this week. I have to.
Oh my word. All right.
Maybe get a little drunk first. We don't promote alcoholism, but maybe get a little bit drunk first.
Mostly get drunk first.
Alright.
Yeah, and then rent a quiet place because we all rent Blu-rays.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one.
At the
That's the one.
Blockbusters.
At the Blockbusters.
You definitely have the most relevant section of the recommendations.
I really do.
Marcus?
Marcus streaming.
Oh, streaming. Well, I suppose it's easy. Just make sure you finish watching Luke Cage season 2 before this Friday, because then you're going to be watching Glow season 2.
Oh my god.
Oh man, is every season a sequel, Marcus?
Yes.
Oh no, no new
original
season.
Everything's so derivative. Hollywood's out of ideas again.
It is.
Hey, Netflix isn't Hollywood. James Cameron made sure of that.
And Spielberg.
And Spielberg.
No Oscars for you.
But yes, but Luke Cage season 2 is good.
Anything in any format that you can recommend, Thomas?
Yes, I will recommend Wind River, starring Jeremy Brenner and Scarlet Witch, whose human name
Is that
Elizabeth
like Jeremy
Olsen.
Renner, but he has a moustache and gives long speeches?
Yes, exactly.
Is it related to Kenneth Branagh?
Joe and Chris have been telling me to watch that. I need to watch that.
Yeah, it was really good. Fucking phenomenal cine. It's also got The Punisher in it.
And then
John
Bernthal.
Yeah.
And then everyone, to save time, just say your plugs at once. You can follow
And you
us
can
on
follow
season
me
one.
on Twitter. I'm
Season
a
two,
totalitarian
you can
talking
on all
science.
places.
There'll be
Hasbro
Yeah.
reminds me of Travolta.
I'll kill you!